topics covered to be covered in this chapter are trends in appearance of halogen, trends in electronic configuration, trends in atomic and ionic radii, trend in electronegativity, trends in oxidizing power of halogens, displacement reactions. There will be some other reactions as well, which are also displacement and can be disproportionation. Testing for halides using silver nitrate, testing for halides by the reaction of concentrated sulfuric acid, and finally volumetric analysis for P3. Starting with group properties, general properties is they are all non-metals and they exist as separate diatomic molecules. So they all exist as Cl2, F2, Br2 or I2. They are diatomic molecules. They all have same electronic configuration because you know that in a group the configuration remains the same in the valence shell. So they have a configuration of s2p5. So they have 7 electrons in their outermost shell and they need one more electron to get their outermost shell stable. The trends, further trends we will study next slide. Group trends appearance. So you know that from O levels that these elements have their colors and their colors gets deeper and darker down the group. So the fluorine is yellow, pale yellow, chlorine is greenish yellow, bromine is a red brown liquid, and iodine is a grayish black solid. Astatine is also a black solid if they ask you. So what happens is that you go down the group, the boiling point increases. That's why fluorine and chlorine are gases, because they have boiling point lower than the room temperature. Bromine is a volatile liquid, so because its boiling point is near to the room temperature, so it easily evaporates. And iodine has a boiling point much higher than room temperature. Rather, its melting point is even higher than the room temperature. So iodine is a solid at room temperature. But we know that iodine sublimes on heating. It means it changes from solid to gas or solid to vapors directly. Why the boiling point increases? From the topic of chemical bonding, we know that they are all non-polar molecules and they have van der Waals forces, and the van der Waals forces become stronger down the group due to increase in number of electrons and particle size or contact points. Next property is their electronic configuration. So in your O levels you write the electronic configuration as in shells. So fluorine is 27, chlorine is 287 and so on. But from your A levels course you have learned about subshells and orbitals. So they all have S2p5 configuration of the valence shell. So what happens to the atomic radius and ionic radius down the groups? As you go down the group, as the number of shells increases, so does the atomic radius as well as their ionic radius increases down the group. Fluorine has the smallest atomic radius and iodine atom has the largest atomic radius, and the same trend is followed by the negative ions. Fluoride is the smallest and iodide is the largest in its atomic radius. This is again due to the increase in number of shells and shielding effect. Next property is electronegativity. We know that these elements are highly electronegative. Group 17 elements are highly electronegative, and the most electronegative element of the whole periodic table is fluorine. It has the highest electronegativity of 4. Chlorine has 3.5, 2.8 and 1.2.5 for iodine. You don't need to learn these electronegativities. These will be given in your paper. But why electronegativity decreases down the group? The reason is that increasing number of shells, more shielding and less pull on electrons, and increase in atomic radius as well drops the attraction due to the distance from the nucleus and the valence shell. Next property is their oxidizing power. You know that non-metals, especially halogens, are strong oxidizing agents. It means that they are themselves reduced and then they make other elements or other atoms to get oxidized. It means in terms of electron transfer, they gain electrons from the other elements and make them to oxidize, and they themselves gets reduced. So what happens to the oxidizing power? As we know that electronegativity decreases down the group, so does their oxidizing power also decreases down the group. Fluorine being uh, the smallest has the highest electronegativity and has also the highest power of oxidizing. or it is the strongest oxidizing agent of the whole group 17. It has the highest ability to gain electron and to make other elements oxidized, and it can easily be reduced. So again, the same factors that affect our this oxidizing power is increased shielding effect and increased atomic radius. So down the group, due to these factors, oxidizing power decreases. So let's see that displacement reaction is a good example to prove not only the reactivity of halogens but also the oxidizing power. As we know from O levels that as you go down, the displacement power of halogens decreases. The upper halogen can displace the lower halide ions, but the lower halogen cannot displace the upper halide halogen. So as the reactivity decreases down the group, displacement reactions can also be seen from upper halogen atom to the lower halide ion. So more reactive halogen can displace less reactive, but reverse is not possible. So how can we do that? We can have a solution of less reactive halide ion. For example, you have sodium bromide aqueous solution and you pass chlorine, more reactive halogen chlorine through the solution, and you see a displacement reaction. But if you try reverse of it, you add, suppose you add bromine to sodium chloride solution, no reaction will be seen because more reactive can displace less reactive ions, but less reactive cannot displace more reactive ions. So the reaction shows chlorine can displace bromide ion to form bromine and sodium chloride. So this is a displacement reaction. Chlorine has displaced bromide ions to form sodium chloride and bromine, and you will also see a color change as chlorine will gradually react, so its greenish yellow color will disappear and bromine aqueous will form, so you will see orange red color to be appeared. Sodium bromide and sodium chloride, the salts are colorless solutions, so you will not see any color of the solution. Yeah, so fluorine is the most electronegative. It has the highest electronegativity, so it can form, it can displace all of it. Below fluorine, chlorine is also very highly electronegative and very strong oxidizing agent. Therefore, chlorine can oxidize bromide, chlorine can oxidize iodide, but bromine can oxidize only iodide and not anything else. So from these reactions, it is evident that the halogens which are on the top of the group can displace the halide ions which are lower down the group, but reverse will not be possible. So if you think that you add bromine to sodium chloride and you expect a displacement reaction, you will see no color change and no reaction will take place. So in terms of oxidizing power, in terms of electron transfer, you see that chlorine has gained electron and bromide ion has lost electron. So chlorine is reduced and bromide ion is oxidized, so it's a redox reaction. Chlorine is reduced because it has a stronger oxidizing power. So that's the same thing goes for chlorine reaction with iodide. So and bromine reaction with iodide. Let's see the color changes. When you pass chlorine through sodium chloride, there will be no reaction because chlorine cannot displace chlorine itself. But chlorine displaces bromide ion. So you will see that bromine is formed and you will see orange yellow color will appear. And when you pass chlorine through sodium iodide, you will see iodine is formed, and iodine has an orange red or yellow brown solution, and if some solid iodine is formed, it will settle down as a grayish black or purplish black solid. In case of bromine, you will see no reaction with sodium chloride, you will see no reaction with sodium bromide because bromine cannot displace bromide ion as well. And when you add it to sodium iodide, you will see a reaction and you will see that iodine is formed. So a yellow brown solution of iodine will form and some of the solid purplish blacks iodine will also settle down. Other reactions of chlorine, if you add chlorine to water, this is a very usual reaction that we add chlorine to water to form bleach, and in bleach you will see that there is a smell of chlorine inside the bottle, and most of the chlorine is undissolved and you can smell that, but the amount of chlorine that dissolves forms hydrochloric acid, which is a very strong acid, and hypochlorous acid, or we can also call it as hydrochlorate acid chlorate 1 acid. In this HOCl, the oxidation state of Cl is +1, whereas in HCl, the oxidation state of Cl is -1. So you will see that there is an oxidation as well as reduction. So when you add red litmus paper to the solution, HCl will turn, sorry, you will add blue litmus paper, HCl will turn it into red, but then HOCl will decolorize because HOCl produces atomic oxygen, which causes the bleaching reaction. So this reaction is called disproportionation reaction because the same element is both oxidized. Also a reaction of sodium hydroxide with chlorine at high temperature and concentrated NaOH. In that case, only the product different is NaOCl is replaced by NaClO3 or NaOCl3, in which chlorine's oxidation state is +5. Rest of the product NaCl and water is the same, and slightly balancing is changed, but that reaction is also disproportionation reaction. So hot concentrated NaOH will form NaCl, NaOCl3, which is called sodium chlorate 5, and water. Another step, so we can use two reagents. The second reagent can further confirm, although the color changes and the formation of the precipitate and its color shows that it's chloride bromide iodide, but we can even further confirm that whether it's chloride bromide iodide by the addition of ammonia, dilute ammonia solution to the precipitate, and add dilute ammonia solution to the precipitate. If it is white precipitate, it will dissolve with few drops of aqueous ammonia, and the solution will turn colorless. If it is silver bromide off-white precipitate, because usually white and off-white are quite confusing, so you start adding silver nitrate dilute, aqueous ammonia dilute solution, the precipitate will not dissolve, rather its intensity will become lesser and lesser. So if you add concentrated ammonia, if you 1 or 2 drops, the precipitate will immediately dissolve. But in case of iodide ion, yellow precipitate neither dissolves in dilute solution of aqueous ammonia nor in concentrated aqueous ammonia. So what happens when you add aqueous ammonia to the precipitate? The silver ions are complexed or datively bond with aqueous ammonia, in which ammonia forms dative bond with silver ion. Two molecules of ammonia bonds with one silver ion to form a complex, diamine complex, which is soluble, and the precipitate dissolves. So these are the changes. You will see add dilute nitric acid, then add silver nitrate. You see silver chloride will form a white precipitate, silver bromide form a pale yellow precipitate or cream precipitate, whereas iodide forms silver iodide, which is a yellow precipitate. So testing for halide ions can be done by using another reagent, which is called concentrated sulfuric acid. This reaction is also first it's a displacement reaction and then it's a redox reaction. When you add concentrated sulfuric acid to halide ion solutions, for example sodium chloride or sodium bromide or sodium iodide, it will form, from sodium chloride it form HCl, from sodium bromide it form HBr, and then from sodium iodide it will form hydrogen iodide. And these hydrogen halides have also reducing powers, and sulfuric acid has an oxidizing power. So sulfuric acid is a strong oxidizing agent, but HCl is also a good oxidizing agent. So both of them do not react any further. But in case of HBr, HBr is a powerful reducing agent and sulfuric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. Therefore, therefore you will see a further reaction. So HCl is not that strong reducing agent, so it cannot reduce sulfuric acid. But whereas HBr has greater power of reducing, so HBr can react further with sulfuric acid, and HI has the strongest power of reducing. So HI will continue to reduce sulfuric acid from +6 to +4 to +2 and then 0 to -2. So we will see that how they react. So this is a complete summary. When you add H2SO4 to sodium chloride, you will see that HCl is formed, and HCl forms white misty fumes in moisture, and there will be no further reaction because HCl is not a strong reducing agent, so it cannot cause any reduction of sulfuric acid or itself oxidize. When you add sodium bromide to sulfuric acid, first HBr is formed. HBr is a strong reducing agent and sulfuric acid is a strong oxidizing agent, so they both go into a redox reaction. Sulfuric acid will cause bromide ion to oxidize to form bromine, whereas sulfuric acid itself gets reduced to sulfur dioxide from +6 oxidation state to +4, and you will see that HBr also forms misty white fumes, bromine will form red brown vapors, and a colorless pungent gas of sulfur dioxide will form. So with sodium bromide you have three products formed, and there is first a displacement reaction and then a redox reaction. In case of sodium iodide, you will see a list of observations because sodium iodide forms hydrogen iodide when reacted with concentrated sulfuric acid, which is a strong reducing agent, and it causes the reduction of sulfuric acid step by step until it is no more has capacity to reduce. So HI is formed, which is a white misty fumes. Then HI iodide ion is further oxidized by sulfuric acid to iodine up. You used to see purple vapors or black solid, while sulfuric acid is reduced to sulfur dioxide from +6 oxidation state to +4, and you will smell sulfur dioxide, pungent smell. Not only sulfur dioxide is formed, but sulfur is further reduced to sulfur, which is has an oxidation state of 0 from +6 to 0, and it's a yellow solid. And it will be further reduced from sulfur to sulfide ion as well to give us H2S, which shows bad X smell. So iodide ion is just oxidized to iodine, but iodide ion will reduce sulfur to from +6 to +4, +6 to 0 oxidation state, and then +6 to -2 as well. So all these products will be formed simultaneously in the reaction flask. Point of HF to be very large. Then HCl has very low boiling point. Then HBr and HI have again increasing pattern of boiling point because of the increase in the strength of permanent dipole forces or van der Waals forces. Reducing ability, HF has a very strong bond, so it has a very strong bond compared to that of HCl, HBr and HI because bond length increases down the group and the bond energy decreases. So that's why the reducing ability increases down the group. We have seen what happens with HI to sulfuric acid, whereas HCl cause no reduction of sulfuric acid. So hydrogen halides की formation में we see that when you react hydrogen with halogen, you will get HX. The rate of the reaction is different because fluorine being highly electronegative and the highest reactive, H2 reacts explosively with fluorine even in the dark at room temperature, whereas chlorine reacts explosively when heated or in sunlight. So this is a photochemical reaction, but that will be quite explosive if you heat or replace it in sunlight. Reaction of bromine will be fast at 200 degrees C with a catalyst, so it's a slow reaction. And iodine, you know, H2 plus I2 is a reversible reaction to form 2HI, and it is well, the equilibrium is well towards H2 and I2 on the left hand side. So this reaction is quite difficult to occur. The reactivity decreases, so does the rate of the reaction is also decreasing. Displacement reaction, we have seen that NaCl forms NaHSO4 and HBr and HI. Chlorine is used to purify water because we see that it forms HCl, which kills bacteria. It is used as a bleach because it forms HOCl in water. It is used as a solvent for polymers. It is also used to form CFCs. CFCs, we know that they are harmful gases, inert gases, which cause ozone depletion. Fluorine is also used in CFCs, and it is used to make Teflon or PTFE, polytetrafluoroethene. And I believe these reactions will be discussed in your laboratory, so I will not cover it right now. Thank you, folks. In the next class.